Praise the Lord, and welcome to tonight's IPYPU Love Story. We are your hosts, Elder Graham and Minister Graham, and we are here again tonight to host another love story by the IPYPU.
Listen, y'all, we've got a new couple for you. But before we get there, before we even go there, y'all know what to do. Let us see you rep your councils. Put it in the chat. Shout out. We want to know who's watching, who's with us tonight, who's joining us tonight. Listen, we're going to talk to an amazing couple today. We're going to hit some questions, some stuff that's going on out there with some of our young married couples. So we are super excited. This couple has a new baby. Love the babies, especially when they're not mine. Praise God. Hallelujah. So let us know who is watching. Shout out your council, shout out your bishops, and make sure you shout out your pastors. Don't forget to and your city. Don't forget to like and share. Like and share. So while you all do that, you can already tell this is a special episode of the Love Story. We all should have had an amazing Palm Sunday. So we are going to make sure that we jump across and put the I in IPYPU and do the international. So we have an international couple for you all today. So we want you all, as you're putting in your councils, repping your city, your state, your country.
Rep your country.
Rep your country and your council.
Right.
Put some hearts and your hands together for this amazing couple, Minister Craig and Sister Nadia, Irish, all the way from Canada.
Let's get it.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Good.
Well, you're looking good. Listen, we're about to come to your whole country.
Let's go, Canada. Let's go.
Hopefully the weather behaves for you guys.
Yes, definitely.
Listen, I hope so too.
Listen, we'll be saying that when y'all come to LA. We'll be like, hopefully there won't be any earthquakes.
Oh, Lord. Wildfires.
Or wildfire. We haven't had any wildfires.
Well, that's more in the summertime.
So far.
Okay, yeah.
So far. Well, right now we soaked and we having floods. But give us 2 months and then they'll be like, we back in the drought. Man, we are so glad to have y'all with us tonight. Yeah. I can't wait to dig into you all's love story, especially sis. Your husband is a social media phenom, okay? He is on there giving out the gospel. And I want to see how you handle it. But I want to hear about the baby. We want to hear about it all. So before I start asking all my 90 questions, why don't y'all jump us off and tell us how y'all met?
You want to go? Okay, I'll go. So, honestly, I was talking to a friend at the time, and I was saying, man, I don't know, it was just randomly. I was feeling churchy, and I was like, man, I feel like my blessing is in Edmonton. I was currently
not my blessing is in Edmonton. Come on.
I was currently living in Toronto. So I had a friend of mine living out in Edmonton. So I said, hey, I think my blessing is in Edmonton. So I said, yo, what's the church scene in regards to females? What is it looking like? So I was like, all right. So he sent me a couple photos of some church girls that are in the area. And
wait, hold on. So you had a whole Love is Blind on your phone? Like, swiping right? Like, what is happening?
I was like,
is this Tinder for Jesus? Like,
straight up. So I literally, I swiped left, and then her picture came up, and I was like, that is her.
Wow.
Now, how far is Toronto in comparison to Edmonton?
Yeah.
About a 4-hour flight. Yeah.
4-hour
flight. Pretty much on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So Edmonton is more on the
West Coast. So we closer to so we're closer to, like I was saying earlier, we're the state we're closest to is, well, that's under us is Montana.
Okay. So you on our side.
Yeah.
So we're right beside
New York.
Yeah. We're right beside British Columbia.
Which is like Seattle.
Tu parles pour le français?
We
ignore her.
Wait, he don't speak no French. That's why.
I was like, what did you say?
She was like, in Toronto, it's mandatory that we take French up to the
over
ninth.
here.
It's Spanish here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Tú hablas español un poquito.
Bueno.
Yeah, sure, yeah. We don't know that. Yeah.
Okay, so wait. I have a quick question. I know we just started off, but
go ahead.
So was it that bad in Toronto?
No, it wasn't bad.
Where you had to go 4 hours?
No, it wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that bad. No. That's not the disclaimer. Fellas, if you're watching, there's a lot of, especially internationally, y'all come to Toronto. There's some fine ladies in Toronto. But
your blessing was in Edmonton.
My blessing was in Edmonton.
Okay, all right.
I just had a feeling that it was over there. So, so that was it. And I was like, I dove into the DMs.
Facebook.
These DMs is hot in the church.
Sizzling. They're spicy. So I just said, all right, cool. So I just.
So what did you say in the DMs? What was your approach?
Right, because you catching feelings and flights.
Right.
What's happening? All the pictures. This is unbeknownst to anything. She is unawares.
So
legit.
I remember the message went something like, I said, hey, I'm like, looks like we have some mutual friends. Hopefully we can be friends. And that was the line.
Okay.
That was it.
What song was that? We can be friends. Oh, never mind.
You didn't say praise the Lord.
You're too safe for that.
My name is Minister King.
No, I didn't come churchy. I was just like, hey, we can. We did have a good amount of mutual friends.
Okay.
So it wasn't a complete stranger kind of thing. It's like, okay, we kind of roll in the same circles in regards to what we know from across Canada. So it was like, okay, cool. So I just sent the message, and then we haven't stopped talking since.
So Nadia, what did you say when you saw this DM come in?
What was your response?
Well,
let me ask you this: did you know him prior to, or was there any type of fellowship amongst the churches? I know it's a 4-hour difference, but was there any type of fellowship amongst the churches? Had you seen her prior to
seen him
prior to the pictures?
Well,
I've never seen you.
No, we didn't see each other, but I think before you messaged me, I was in Toronto, and we were at the same. We were at the same church meeting, but we didn't know each other.
Okay.
I know for a fact.
We just knew after the fact that we were both there that night.
Okay.
But I didn't see her at the time.
Yeah.
That probably would have changed a lot. I probably would have found out who she was then too.
Yeah.
So you didn't notice me in person?
Maybe you had a big hat on or something. I don't know. Maybe I was in the glory. I was worshiping.
Right.
He was in the spirit of the Lord.
Yeah.
The church that we were at.
He was in all the way, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And the church we were at was a shouting church. So I was probably just shouting away.
Okay.
That's right. You was in.
I was in.
Okay, so since he didn't slid into your DMs, what do you say?
What did I say? I think I was pretty friendly. I was like, hey, sure, whatever. Like, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, who's this guy? Okay, whatever. I wasn't, honestly, the furthest thing from my mind was thinking that he was trying to get to know me in that sense. I just thought, well, we do know people, so sure, why not? I don't mind meeting people and whatever. I'm all the way in Edmonton, and we have a lot of mutual friends, especially in the Toronto area. So I was like, sure. So that's pretty much it.
When did you realize that he was really reaching out to be friends?
When did I realize? Probably very shortly after the initial DM, because Craig was moving very swiftly. And he was like, I think I'm going to marry you. I think you're the one.
Wait.
Now, wait a minute.
We just met each other. Hold on. We just met each other. But he just knew, I guess.
Wow.
So
the Lord has spoken.
Wasn't playing around.
Prophetic.
Are we talking weeks, months?
Weeks, days.
Days, weeks,
Yeah,
days.
It was early.
More like
it was early in the game. Like I said, I saw her and I was just like, I don't know. There was something about her.
That's it, huh?
I was like, and I think for me, it was like the way she just carried herself that I saw through the pictures. It just said class.
I was going to say you only saw a picture.
It was a couple. I went through all of them. All of them. I'm trying to make sure. So I was like, nah, I like the way she carried herself, the class, the elegance, the style. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then once I got to know her, then it
right.
Talking to her, I was like, oh, okay, mm-hmm. It sounds good.
Wow. So, sis, what was your response?
This wasn't Love is Blind.
This wasn't Love is Blind.
No, Love's eyes was wide open.
Wide open.
No blindness here. Right?
Nadia
was blind on my end.
Nadia was like, I'm just out here trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now, what was your response when he
my
said?
Response?
Yeah, when he said what he said.
I'm gonna marry you.
I was like, can we just get to know each other first?
Right.
Like, we literally just started talking for days, and we're just having casual conversation. But on his end, like I said, I guess he just felt in his heart that that's where he was supposed to be.
But to be fair, I did take her advice because that's all we did do was talk. Because
yes, we talked.
Yeah, I was gonna say at this point, you guys live a whole flight away. So, what was your first date? Like, how did that work out?
So our first date was actually, so we started talking in March, which was like, what's today?
6 days ago.
Yeah, so 6 days ago.
Well, come on, anniversary.
Yeah, 6 days ago.
Okay.
6 days ago, like what, 7 years ago?
2017.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
we started talking, and then she ended up coming to visit in July. So our first date was actually a wedding.
Whoa.
Somebody else's wedding.
Yeah, somebody else's wedding. Not our wedding.
But Nadia knows, like, women, we don't,
But I think over time, the best part was through that time from March to July, because we were constantly talking, there's no dinner, there's no movies, there's no distractions. It was just like, I really had to get to know her. Like, I really understand how she thought, you know what I mean? And through constant conversation and going through the gamut of information. And so it was just like, okay, by the time of July, it's just like, all right. But I had an invite to go to a wedding. So I said, that was literally our first date. She came that day and she got ready that night. I got ready. Boom. Then we went on our first date at a friend of mine's wedding.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So you guys go on your date, and how was that? What was your?
Because this was the first time y'all had seen each other in person.
So what was your first impression of her, and Nad? What was your first impression of him?
You want to go first?
I think this was thank God for technology, because I don't think it was as awkward because of, like, your FaceTiming.
Okay.
I think it was just like the pent up, like, oh fine, like I guess it's kind of like the shows we watch. You watch your 90 Day Fiancé and all those.
You get to hug her,
Right, you get to see. Oh my gosh, like, finally, like, you know what I mean. So it was just like having the opportunity now to actually experience, what a great date to kind of just experience love, right? And then have a good meal, and then we're there and we're just having a good time. And I think that was just the best part, was just like where we were and the company that we were with. And I was like, okay, I think I could do this long term.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nadia.
Sorry, what was the question? What was my impression?
Yeah, like when you first saw him.
When I first saw Craig, I was like,
in person.
When you legs.
Oh wow!
I love. Oh, he
had chicken legs. But that didn't matter. That was just my observation.
She loved you anyway.
Right.
It didn't matter.
Craig said, "I done gave you all these compliments, and you gonna see
That's the first thing. Oh, nice. I'm gonna make sure MJ hears this.
He'll just laugh. Come on.
Yeah.
I love it. So we've done this. We've done a few couples now, and some of the newer couples, what we've noticed is it's all went down in the DMs.
Yeah. I think that's the new.
Yeah, I'm like,
thing now,
because and I know, Craig, you mentioned there are beautiful women in Toronto. So any Toronto ladies, no shade.
Right.
Y'all cute. Y'all just want for him.
Right.
But is that the new way of really dating in this church generation, right? You got a friend, let me see your friend, swipe this one.
listen, low key now. I guess because it happened to me, and I think that's the way I think. Even I was just talking to a friend of mine. I just sent somebody's profile to a friend. I'd be low key playing matchmaker sometimes because.
Oh, I do it too. I'd be like this one.
I'm like this one here because it's like social media has opened up such an opportunity because hey, especially for church, we don't get to go out, and sometimes I think we kind of vacuum ourselves into like a location or an area to think, oh well, there's no men in my church. There's 50,000 churches across this world. You just never know. And sometimes the opportunity might come across as like, hey, you might see somebody that might look interesting. And I think social media is a great way. Like as long as you're not a weirdo, right? Like, then I think it's just a great way to get
right.
At least a great way to get to know someone and then be like, hey, if it doesn't work out, you're kind of like, okay, cool, man. We could be friends. You see each other later on. But I think social media is a great tool. Outside of just like, I've never really done a dating app. No shade. I never really did the Tinder, the Bumble. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you technically did Tinder. You just
it was a different Tinder. I had the hook. I got the hookup. That was the difference. That I didn't have to go through no app, right? So
you did Tinder like Tinder ad, like Leah.
Exactly.
Like, did that. But okay, so you bring up a good point that social media is a great way as long as you're not a weirdo. But Nadia is you're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
How did you feel like, all jokes aside, he is trying to get to know you. You don't know anything about him. And he's literally just in your DMs. I can't imagine he the only one who slid into your DMs talking about, hey girl, hey. Nadia said no.
No.
That look said no. So how did you know that he was the one worth giving some time to?
I would say his approach was very different. To kind of backpedal a little bit, like when Craig first messaged me, I was just starting my new nursing job, sitting in orientation of my first day, and I get this Facebook message, and I'm like,
oh wow,
who's this guy? Who's this guy trying to message me?
Toronto.
New job.
Right, Toronto.
Who's this Toronto man? And for all the females coming to Toronto. No, I'm not going to go there.
Don't go there. There's nothing wrong with Toronto guys.
No, there's a little bit of a stigma with Toronto guys.
Oh, what's the stigma?
So,
she's like, what's
the stigma?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's just say I have a brief history of people DMing me, messaging me, trying to get to know me. And my naive little church girl self was like, oh, they're just trying to be my friends. And then come to find out,
they wanted to know you biblically.
Yes, they wanted to see if I was the Proverbs 31 woman, but it didn't.
But without going through Proverbs 30. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. So with Craig, I guess his approach was just a little bit different. Like from the first message that he sent me, it was super casual. It was super friendly and comfortable. It wasn't like overly aggressive, And just from talking casually, I just found like we had a lot in common. We connected through a lot of things. And even though church was like our main connection, there were other things about our lives that we found that kind of connected us even more. So we found out that Craig's dad used to live in Edmonton. And his aunt lives in Edmonton as well. So through conversations, we found out like his aunt knows my dad and my family.
Wow.
His dad knows his dad. And there's just a lot of like the Caribbean community over here, like back in the day was very small. Mm-hmm. So chances are everybody kind of knows everyone of this person. So my dad's in the trades. So my dad is friends with his dad's friends. So when they come now, they're like, oh, we know this guy and we're hanging out with that guy. Like there was a lot of, and also music was a connection that we had too. We both come from the island, and we love our cultural music. So that was another piece that kind of connected us. So just, I guess, talking and figuring out and getting to know each other just made it really simple and easy for me. And I would say, to add to that, like prior to Craig, I was in a long-term relationship for a number of years. And that did come to an end. And for me, I was like, how do I know if I know how to love? Because I was ending that relationship for so long. I was like, how can I just end it? How did it just end like that?
Right.
So I
right.
doubted myself. I questioned myself. But then I guess Craig just kind of gave me that reassurance. So yeah.
Not bad for a Toronto man.
Not bad for Toronto.
I mean, but I love that you bring up a very valid point that transcends countries and borders, right?
Yeah.
When you've been in a long-term relationship, when the right one comes along, how do you trust yourself to know that this is right?
Mhm.
So let's fast forward. You've done that work. You guys get married. How, who moves where? What does this look like? What is your first month or 3 look like? Your first 3 months. When did you guys get married?
Okay, so let's backtrack. So because there's a little bit of backtracking we have to
Okay, come on, connect this.
So she comes in July, right? And we have a great time. She's here for like a week or so. She leaves, and then I'm coming to visit in September. They have a church meeting out here. Her organization at the time, they have a church meeting out here. So I come to. So we've been praying because we try to figure out what. Because I'm like, I ain't moving to no Edmonton. Like that is not happening. Like I'm born and raised in Toronto. Like this is what I know. This is all I know.
Now, why? What's wrong with Edmonton? Why wouldn't you want to move?
Number one, I've never been there before, and it's a smaller city.
Okay.
I'm a city kid. Like I grew up in the city. I'm like, you know what I mean. Toronto has this like little New York kind of feel.
Yeah, so it's like New York kind of.
I'm East Coast. Like
okay.
I'm not leaving my city. So,
gotcha.
But at the time, you know, work situation was it's dog eat dog. Like you know what I mean when you live in the city kind of thing, right? So I was like, okay. Let's try to figure out what we're gonna do if we're gonna try to make this thing work and you know pursue and take it further to go to marriage. And I was like, okay, well, we were kind of just praying to see, okay, well, I gotta kind of be open to move if I can't really get work out here and you know the situation doesn't work. She just started nursing. She just finished nursing school, just started her nursing job. So I'm like, I can't really keep her away from her years of study and all that stuff just to make me comfortable. So we said, all right. We gonna pray, we're gonna fast, we're gonna get an answer. Fast forward, someone was preaching, they gave me the word, they said, trust in the Lord, lean not on our own understanding, and all that ways acknowledge him. And I was like, okay, cool. And I came to visit in September. So from July to September, I came to visit and I stayed for a week. And then before I came, I was applying to jobs, just trying to see if something would work out. And one of the jobs I applied to was a transfer from the company I was at to this job. So I was like, oh, okay, that could work. So I stayed an extra week and I kept applying to jobs, whatever. So I went back after the 2 weeks. And I think another 2 weeks or so passed, and then I ended up moving. So from that September to like early October, I moved just like that.
Wow.
Packed all my stuff in the U-Haul, sold my car, sent it on the Greyhound, and I moved. So so that was that. And then, you know, through that, then we started to, you know, go through the process of, you know, engagement and all that stuff. So that was kind of like
because at that point you didn't move. Yeah. So we's getting married.
Yeah. 100%. Because if not, then I gotta go. Then I can go back. But I was like, I'm sold up.
I mean, you already picked up your life.
Yeah, but I believed it was because when people ask me like, why did you move to Edmonton? People say, oh, I'm like, Nadia is the second half to it, but the first half is God, because I wouldn't have made the decision, because I'm not a person to just be, oh, I'm just gonna make this, especially now in my life being older. I'm like, God, this has to be you, because if it ain't you, I ain't going nowhere, because I didn't want to go, and I knew it was God. I didn't want to go, but He said go, and you know, so that was, and then I was here for about 2 years before we got married. Yeah, because I got married in 2019. Yeah, so I got that. So we went from talking in March, visit in July the first time. I visit her October. I lived here in Edmonton, and then
so 7 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so then took us to the following year. So funny story. She came in July. The first time she came in July. You coming in July or 7th or something like that. So when she came in July the first time to visit, we got engaged the following year in July.
Oh.
July the 5th. we got engaged, and then July 5th we got married. The following year we got married.
Oh, I was wait.
So year.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. You met first date in July, engaged in July, married in July.
Yeah,
I love that. So you said so 2019 you guys got married?
Correct. Yeah. So this year will be fun.
Okay, so now you guys are married.
Yes.
And so this is different because you two had a long distance relationship to start. You did not have any background on each other beforehand. So you had to build that relationship. 7 months in, you've only been on one date, technically, and you move, 2 dates. You move to her city. 3 months later, you get engaged, and another year later, you guys get married.
3 months later? No. I moved in October, and then I got married, and then we got engaged.
Oh, 8 months later. So 8 months later, you get engaged, and then the following year, you guys get married.
Okay.
So now you guys are married. What does that look like? You've only been you're a city boy. You've been in Edmonton. What?
Yeah. Was that transition
like? Was it difficult?
Yeah.
How did your first few months of marriage look?
Listen, well, I think by that time it was a little bit different. But when I first moved, it was really tough because I've been I was a leader at my home church, and I have a lot of family and friends.
Yeah, you have to change churches, jobs.
I was a newly. I just got ordained like a couple years ago as a minister, so preaching just really started out for me, and you know what I mean. So I'm really starting to come into my own in ministry, right? And it was kind of just like I gotta leave now. Like this, I'm Kobe in my prime right now.
Right, you in your prime right now. Wait a minute.
I'm in my prime right now, so it was just like that was tough. So it was difficult because it's like all my friends are back here. You know what I mean? The connections that I have and family on top of that. I've never been away from my parents for a long time, and so it was very challenging, especially just on the ministry part. But after a while, I had to kind of just fight through it, right? And her family and the family that I had here already kind of just they really helped in the beginning, and it's still tough because it's a culture shift. I think I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So, but getting to the marriage part was good because I'm like, most of her friends started to become my friends, and we just developed a lot of great relationships here. And then Nadia coming back and visiting my family, and then her getting integrated. So it was just good. Like I still didn't fall out of touch because I'm like, I still feel like I'm back home because I talk to everybody still. But
right,
it was a huge change. But then once we got married, right, we're just now it's just like, okay, we're both working, we're adapting, and so I think over time it's gotten better, right? So
good.
So you guys got married right before the pandemic, right?
Yes. Right before, yeah.
Okay.
So going into the pandemic, how did that work?
Because you got married in July of 19, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you weren't married a year yet before the pandemic hit.
Being a young couple, now you're stuck in the house all day, every day. How did that work?
So the pandemic for me happened earlier than most, and I'll tell you why. Because we got married in July, and me still thinking I still can ball out here, was out here playing basketball, and I ended up rupturing my Achilles.
Shut up.
Yeah. So that was September.
Oh wow.
So like we just
2
got
months
married.
later.
Yeah. So ruptured my Achilles. So it was super difficult at the time because like we're freshly married, like you know what I mean. When we came back from our honeymoon, we moved into a brand new house we just bought. So it was just like, okay, and we're supposed to be back to work, doing the regular thing, and it's just like I'm just laid up completely.
Well, at least your wife's a nurse,
right?
Thank God. But I think it was so hard because you're starting this new life and you're excited. Like I said, you're moving into a brand new house. You're these are your dreams, these are your goals, your aspirations in life. You know what I mean? As you mature into your adolescence, and it was kind of just like, man, I'm here, and I'm an active guy. Like in a sense where I like to go out, I like to you know.
Well, clearly, because you thought you could ball. So
still, I don't know what I was thinking. So, but yeah, so it was extremely difficult. And at the time, it was just like, it was kind of tough because, you know, Nadia's at work and like she has to come home and do the most now, like, because I can't even.
Yeah, did you end up having surgery?
Yeah, I had surgery to repair it.
So the recovery time usually for a ruptured Achilles is like 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
Correct. It's about 3-4 months. And then and then through that, I remember we were here and so that was September. I had the surgery, and then our Thanksgiving is in October. Well, here, if y'all Americans watching right now, y'all come to Canada, our Thanksgiving is in October.
Oh wow,
that's fine.
So when y'all have Thanksgiving, we don't have Thanksgiving. So it's always different. I always get the Americans like, "Hey, yo, Happy Thanksgiving!" On their Thanksgiving,
like, no, we a month late.
Our Thanksgiving is a month late. So we were at home. We were at our parents' house for Thanksgiving, and I just felt this pain in my leg. Like, what's going on? And I said, I don't know. It was Thanksgiving. I remember it was like, let's go to Emerge, and then went to Emerge, discovered I had a blood clot in my leg.
My gosh.
Had no idea. Like, so luckily it just felt like a weird pain. So I ended up going to the Emerge, and then, you know, so that was something that was another, like, you know, scare in the midst of.
I just want to pause for a second. I'm assuming Emerge is emergency room, like the ED.
Correct. Sorry. That's just medical term.
You're right. I'm just helping the folks in the comments who don't know. You know, we silly Americans. We don't know nothing.
So that time was really rough because I was like, you know, the pressure was on her. I'm low key, not even low key. I'm high key depressed. Like, I'm depressed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you?
Because I'm like, like I said, like I'm hurt. Like, I can't do what I want to do, and then it's just like I'm here by myself. Like, there's little to no. You know, everyone's at work. I can't call everybody on the phone. Like, you know what I mean? I like to communicate and stuff. So I was really depressed at the time. So it was hard. I think it was extremely harder on our marriage because, right, like I said, after that was my pandemic. And then right when I'm healing up to get back out there, the pandemic hits, boom.
Oh, so, no. Yeah, you couldn't go outside.
So it was just like, then we just shut in. And I think for that part, especially just being newly married, I feel like it really put a lot of strain on us because it was like we had so much plans. There was stuff we wanted to do, right? Like I said, we're not even married 6 months yet, and we're having to deal with just being in the house now. And it's just like it was a lot of pressure at the time, and I think it really weighed on us heavily during the pandemic for sure.
Being cooped up in the house like that, I want you to speak a little bit to the mental aspect. I know you said you were battling with depression a little bit. How did you cope with that? You know, sometimes in the church, you know, we're always taught, oh, baby, just pray about it. It's going to be all right. You know what I mean? But in reality, you know, some of these issues or some of these things are real life, you know, and sometimes it may take a little more than just prayer to get us through. So can you speak a little bit to that as far as what did you do to help you get through that stage in life that you were at that point?
Can I keep it 100?
Absolutely.
Can I keep it 100?
Absolutely.
Listen, I ain't gonna tell no lie. So for me, it was really tough, and I think there was a myriad of things in regards to, okay, like I said, you know, leaving home, and then it's like, God, now I'm in this position. So I was just in a weird space at the ministry at the time. I was just questioning God completely. Like, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was like, listen, bro, because I didn't grow up in no holiness church.
I didn't even. Don't worry about it.
So I was like, listen, the only one thing I know how to get me through, I'm going, because especially out here now, we got so much weed stores, marijuana, cannabis.
Oh yeah. We weed here too. Yeah, we got weed here too.
Oh, we know California got it over there. So, but that was the only thing that actually tried to, like, for me, and it was a crutch for me back in my younger years. Right, I didn't grow up in church, and that was something that I always battled with. So that was the one thing, just like that helped me kind of just escape the depression, escape the mental aspects of what I was going through. But during that time, and a lot of people may not know, like I make music. I'm an artist. I got music on Spotify and social. I ain't gonna plug it like.
Oh, you know, you absolutely gonna plug it. At the end of this, you absolutely are. Put that plug in. Because I've tapped into a couple of them.
Okay. So during that period of time, that was something that God was kind of just, what's my rapper name? Oh, this Irish. It's just Irish Meets World. Irish Meets World. All one word. Irish Meets World. If you find it, you can find it. If you want to text me.
That's his handle on IG too. Irish Meets World.
So God was kind of just pushing me back into the music because I've kind of just been doing it off and on, like especially moving out here. I had to adjust some stuff, and I hadn't done anything in a long time. And through that, I just started writing more, just continuously writing. I was like, trust me, I was all YouTubed out. I was all Netflixed out. I was all messaged. All messaged out.
You don't have no PS5, huh?
You got a PlayStation, brother?
Huh?
You don't have no PlayStation?
Nah, I sold it at the time. I didn't have no PlayStation, so I was
okay.
So I got the Xbox back recently, but
okay.
But, I was all sermoned out, everything. I was
right, yeah.
So at the time, so I just felt this urge to not write, and the writing really just started to become therapeutic because, and like I said, y'all see me on social media, Facebook all the time, and posting. So I actually just put that energy into writing. I just started to write songs, and I made beats too. So I just started to just create, and I think that was the thing that really helped me through.
Wow.
I didn't know that, I'm going to studio sessions with my leg, like with crutches and thing going on. So I think that was what really helped me. And not to say Nadia wasn't there, but I think like there was a good period of time where it was just me by myself, right?
Yeah.
And Nadia's not there. Nadia's working, so it's just like I can't even talk through some of the feelings. I'm just taking painkillers to go to bed, and then you know what I mean. And then I'm just in this zone space. But I think through the music, when it kind of really got me to touch back in with God and lock in, and God's like, hey, you got a gift, and not even in just music, but just in ministry. So I think through that in the pandemic, it helped push me back to where I needed to be in just being myself. So I'm glad for that season because it was necessary for me, even just being here.
Yeah. I mean, it's being on the backside of the mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, you know how much times that I know that's my story 100%. Every time I hear it, God keeps reminding me that sometimes you go through things and you're here for a purpose, and sometimes it's not just for you. It's the strength I needed to continue to help my family now that I'm trying to build up. So it's like, okay, it's not just about you. This is stuff that I need to take you through. So when you deal with adversity, you know how to be able to handle it, and what are some ways that you shouldn't handle it, what things you don't need to go back to, because he's delivered us from them.
Absolutely.
You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
We often hear it, it's always intriguing and refreshing, encouraging and empowering to hear men talk about depression, because it's not talked about, or any type of mental health, right? It could be depression, it could be anger, whatever the case may be. But I also want to balance that with the woman who stands beside you. Nadia, you are a new wife. Your husband is injured. There's a pandemic. You are a nurse working in the midst of a pandemic, coming home to a husband who is in full-on depression. How did you cope?
How did I cope? Honestly, for me,
because unless you got a rapper name too, I'm like, what?
No, I'm not artistic in that way, just Craig, unfortunately. But for me, I think I am very close with my immediate family. My mom, she lives just up the street, 4 minutes drive. Wow. My sister is about 7 minutes drive. So for me, I think I was able to get through from just communicating with them, just kind of offloading, I guess, on them, because it's a lot. Like I felt so much pressure because, Craig is home, he's not working. So I felt like it was my responsibility. If there's extra shifts overtime, I have to work. Like,
right.
We just moved in and we have a mortgage now and all these bills and whatever. So I felt like obviously that was my responsibility, and then to come home and he can't move around, and we have like an upstairs and a downstairs. It's very difficult to go, to and from whatever. So I pretty much did most of everything at home, and it was a lot. But for me, it's just being able to kind of offload that, and to be able to just talk to somebody and just kind of get it out there. And we do have like, I can't remember at what point, but we do have like a workout area in our basement. We've been building that for some time. So it's always been a pastime of mine to just kind of work out and just release some stress and have some me time down in the basement. So I'm not always as consistent, or I wasn't always as consistent, but that is definitely something that has helped me kind of get through difficult moments.
Did you know that he was depressed?
Not really. I mean, I knew.
He hadn't verbalized it.
Not really. Like, Craig is very.
You got to keep it 100 too.
Watch tone now. Watch tone.
No, I didn't know he was necessarily depressed.
I didn't vocalize it.
I was gonna say you didn't verbalize it.
I was kind of like, and I didn't. To be honest, I didn't really know that I was depressed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you even know at the time?
I didn't know at the time. So I think after the fact, that kind of like it kind of to start to bleed out, maybe in conversations and the way I was acting in a sense, and then I was like, okay, like I'm depressed. Like, so I think after the fact, I kind of like, then we kind of talked about it in that sense.
Yeah,
right?
like I knew like something was wrong, definitely, because like going to the weed store and stuff. So I'm like, what's going on here? But I didn't know it was that, like, it was that severe. It was that bad for me. So,
well, how did you deal with that? I mean, you got your minister husband now going to the weed store.
Honestly, I just had to support him. Whatever you have to do, obviously don't go to great lengths to do crazy things when you have issues that you're dealing with.
And mind you, she didn't know that I was okay. Let's give her the preface. Like, she didn't fully well know. Like, I wasn't just there, and I was just smoking. And she was I was like I was hiding. Like, it wasn't like out in the open kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? After the fact, it was like, okay, hey, I was doing this, but it wasn't like, hey, like, you want, like, it was. Let's just put that out there. She wasn't supporting the habit.
No.
Was going on.
But I mean. It's real. I think sometimes we don't talk about the real life issues that couples have to endure. And sometimes it doesn't wait for you to be married 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Sometimes it happens in day 5, day 1, day 39. Yeah. And the severity of that issue, especially for new couples who got married when you all did, we had an entire pandemic that nobody went through or had ever experienced before in our lifetime. But now you've got two people who have recently joined their lives together. One who is used to being up and around and about, can't be up and around and about. The other is an entire medical professional. And the pandemic that we are in is affecting our health. How did the two of you deal individually, let alone together? So yeah, she may not be supporting the habit, but there's also some grace to give that she may not have noticed that you were depressed because of the very things that were going on, especially in her line of work.
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, there's grace to be given for both of you. And I could see why you wouldn't want to tell her, considering her line of work. You are a man's man. You come across as a man's man. So you don't want to overburden her.
Totally get it.
Yeah. I'm trying to help you now. That's what you really wanted to say. I got you. He's a man's man.
Yeah, that's right. 100%.
Listen, Craig and Nadia, I have enjoyed this thus far.
Well, wait, they got a baby.
Well, hold on. We're going to do these quick hits.
Oh, you're going to do quick hits.
We're going to pause.
I'm like, I want to hear about the baby.
We're going to pause real quick on the story. We're going to do some quick hits, and then we'll go back to the love story. Is that all right?
All right.
So, real quick hits. All right. Who is the better dancer out of you two?
Craig. 100%.
Okay.
Well, Craig make the beats.
Now, are we talking about like dancing or shouting dancing?
We're talking dancing.
No, they said both.
All right. Who is the better cook?
Me.
Okay. Who is the most affectionate?
Me.
Who is more likely to get arrested out of you two?
Craig.
Nah?
It depends for what.
I'm more tempered. Like she's the like the memes where they have all like the wives and stuff. Like hey, or like send your wife to talk to the waiter and stuff. Yeah, I don't do all that. Like, terrible. Like take this back. I'm like I'll be sitting there like
really.
Okay, Nadia and I can get along then, because I'm not gonna eat. If I pay for it, it's gonna be right.
So then I mean,
I ain't trying to do it all.
That's right.
So when we go to Canada,
we gotta ask Nadia where to eat.
You have to ask me because remember.
That's right, because he's from Toronto.
I'm from Toronto.
That's right.
I got you. Don't worry, I got you.
Who is the most needy?
Me.
Okay.
Definitely.
Who is the most adventurous?
Me.
What? No.
Adventurous? To do more adventurous things? Me.
Yeah.
That's not
true. You?
That would
no.
Be.
So you think you would?
No, she's not going. Okay, so let's preface it. Like, okay, let's go on a roller coaster. She's not doing all that.
I'm not going on a roller coaster.
She's not doing all that.
But there's tons of other things that I would do that you wouldn't do.
Like what?
Like you wouldn't go snorkeling, scuba diving.
I would go scuba diving.
Oh, really?
I said I would.
Okay, but we're gonna.
Why wouldn't you go snorkeling?
Huh? I'm just not really into the water. After Titanic, nah.
Craig, were you on the Titanic?
Listen,
like what?
I was supposed to go on a Disney cruise.
We've been 3 times. Disney cruise is a fire.
You still doing a Disney cruise?
And I was like, trust me, I didn't have to pay. I was young. I was younger too at the time, and I'm like, I ain't going on no boat.
He said the Titanic.
Because you saw the Titanic.
Done. Nope. I ain't.
Well, then we need to show you the Little Mermaid, so you know.
This is an ignorant question. Are there any beaches out there, or
not in Edmonton, right?
They're not. There are beaches. They're not like they're not coastal beaches. They're like
right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, who's more likely to order packages?
Order packages?
Amazon?
Yeah, like Amazon.
With both of us.
I think we're both. It depends, yeah, but it's both now, especially even worse with the baby now. So.
Great segue because I want to hear about the baby. So you guys have been married now. How many years before you guys get pregnant?
3.
3.
Oh,
3 years.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys have a new bundle of joy. Okay, tell us about the baby. What's his name? How old is he? Y'all already know it's a boy because I keep saying he.
His name is Matisse James.
Oh wow! Okay, I like that.
He just had his first birthday. He was born on March 11th of last year.
Yeah. What's up? Congrats, guys! Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We miss our boys being that little. Enjoy it now.
We are.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Who does he act more like so far? You can tell by, for those of you that are not parents, yes, you can tell by one who they're more like.
Definitely have a personality.
He
huge personality.
Huge personality. It's me for sure.
Yeah.
Is he a mama's boy?
Oh yes. He loves his mom.
I've got 1 and 1. We've got one mama's boy.
Yeah.
Actually, they switched.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I think they're both mama's boys.
They're not. My youngest was a mama's boy when he was a baby. Now he's a dad's dude.
Yeah.
My oldest was just, he didn't care, but now but I think he's a mama's boy because he's going away to college. So now he's becoming a mama's boy.
Yeah.
Or a mama's boy. That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about ministry, new baby. It's no longer a new city, but you guys have been married now about 5 years, right? Yeah, almost 5 years. Or a little over 5 years. 5 years. You got a new baby. And listen, this preaching machine you got.
So let me put this plug in for y'all that don't know. My little bro. Listen, book him now for your events.
Fire.
Craig can go. I'm telling you, I'm putting my stamp of approval on it. Y'all book my boy, man. He can go.
Craig can go. I see it in the comments. Craig can go. Y'all already know.
Listen, type that in. Craig
can go.
Yeah. Yeah. Book
If
him.
y'all let them say, I
That's okay. We gonna help you out. We gonna help you out.
Phenomenal preacher. Y'all get
And
him.
I'm picky.
Get him
I'm
for
real
your
picky.
events. Get him for your events. Phenomenal.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. For sure.
So how do you guys navigate all of that together? Fully employed, new baby, ministry. Craig is back in his prime. You got back in your prime.
How do we do it? I think out of the pandemic, what really changed was we actually started to get to do some stuff. I think what really changed was like we actually traveled. We actually went on we went over for my birthday. We went to Mexico for my birthday. Like during the pandemic was still going on, and we need to get out of here.
We traveled too.
Yeah.
And we were like, nah, bro. We got it. And that was
a lot though.
And it was a lot, but the one thing I've known about Nadia since I met her is like she's always been she's a travel freak, right? She's been a lot of places I haven't been to, right? Like
wow.
I kind of been in my bubble for a long time.
That's why I think I'm more adventurous.
Nah, that's just traveling. That's not
Craig said you've been a lot of places, but you ain't done a lot of things.
So I think that's what really started to change the landscape of our marriage in that sense. Because then we started that. So that year we traveled to Mexico. That was February, and then we went to Jamaica together. Took her to see my family in Jamaica, and we went a whole bunch of places, and then we actually went to our first I've never that international convention that I came to that year that I did that I spoke in the after hours.
Yeah.
That was my first international convention ever. I've never been to one before.
Wow.
That night I got there.
President.
Right.
That night was the first night that we just got there through all the delays, all the stuff. We just got there that night. So that was so it was such an awesome time, and meeting so many people that we just really started to get into enjoy just not traveling, but now the church aspect outside, because I've been in PAW pretty much my whole life. Well, in my whole entire church life, and to experience that with her. And get to know people and she meeting people and seeing something different outside of her scope. It was just amazing for us to do that. And we ended up traveling to where did we go after that? We went to New York. We were in Oklahoma City. We did we went to Seattle that year too. Like we were all over the place. So I think
I haven't heard California yet.
Right.
We were actually just talking about California. We're like,
nah, I don't know. Y'all food spots don't look too like.
We're foodies, so
I don't know.
A lot of food places out here.
We eat here.
Yeah.
I never I see more everywhere else. California is never there's a couple spots what I mean. I've seen a couple, but
maybe
who you asking? That's the question.
We gotta have. No, I ask. I just see the reels on. I just see Instagram stuff. So I'm just like, okay.
We gotta bring y'all out to Cali.
The good places don't go on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So you got to take us to the hood spot.
Yes. Okay. Our church is in South Central. Yeah. We will have to take you to the hood spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might just have to.
They might have to.
We're gonna have to invite Craig out. Yeah. We're gonna have to preach for us, and then
as long as y'all feed me, I'm good.
We'll see. We'll feed you for sure.
So I think that kind of really opened up the I would say the nucleus of our marriage. I want to say that because after being boxed in for so long, and obviously we kind of did that in the sense where even before when we were dating, it was just talking, and now it's just like, okay, we kind of want to get out, we want to experience this and start to do stuff. So I think us being able to explore things together, she's New York, and I haven't done New York City since I was like a kid. So us just doing stuff and traveling and eating and just enjoying each other, I think that's just what brought our nucleus of our marriage and made it a lot stronger from the injury from the pandemic to kind of just actually, okay, this is what marriage can feel like.
Yeah.
This is what a flow can feel like. Okay, we're doing some things. We're actually enjoying our time together. Not to say we weren't in the pandemic, but it was just different right now, right? So I think that was a great change. And then from that, then that's how we got MJ. So
Listen, travel will do it every time. Man, we love talking to y'all. This has been awesome. I mean, y'all took us through. You guys are doing amazing work. Just even though, you know, Nadia, you may not do beats, you may not preach, but your ministry in and of itself speaks value. You guys have been such a blessing to talk to. Before we let y'all go, please shout out all of your Instagram handles, plug your music, and then tell us one thing that you've learned in these short 5 years of marriage.
Okay, so you want to go first? You go first. Because that'll probably be longer than me.
Most definitely. Okay, so what was it? Sorry, Instagram handles?
Yep. What's your Instagram? How can people reach you? How can they get to you?
Instagram. Well, my page is private. I like to keep it private, but I can, if people send me a request, no problem. Craig is the public.
No, don't send her no friend request because that's how Craig started. Craig is about to be like, no. So your Instagram handle is at
like, Craig, who's this person? Craig, who's that person?
She don't accept everybody anyway, so I ain't worried. She got her stuff lock and key. So
okay, cool. I'm the same way. Mine private too.
Yeah.
All right. So my Instagram is xo.nadsi, NADSI. And I can't remember what else you said.
That's it. Well, you don't have any music to plug, but what is one thing you've learned in these last 5 years of marriage?
Well, I learned many things, but I would say that communication is, everyone says it, communication is key. And it's something that you have to continuously work on, even when you don't feel like talking. You have to talk. You have to give yourself, and I think it's important to like give yourself the time away. We've learned that too. Mm-hmm. If something happens, it's not about like getting at each other right away. You go your separate ways, you distance yourself, whatever, and then you come back and you can have a constructive conversation. And now I find that now that we have a baby, it's kind of amplified that even more. Mm-hmm. Because now he's such a bright boy. Like, I don't know, I haven't been around a lot of babies, so I'm like, how are you one and you're doing this? But he literally models everything that we do. Wow. So now it's like you have to be so mindful of how you say, what you say, because he's genetically predisposed to so many things, right? But it's up to us to either kind of hinder those things or amplify those things. Yeah. So for me, I can be a little bit hot-headed sometimes. And learning about having a child it's a challenge. Like, he's going through the stage of like, hey, we're trying to feed him food. He's not wanting to eat. He wants to swat the spoon. He wants to throw it on the floor. He wants to seal his lips. And I'm like, okay, whew, you got to just take it back a little. Because how he watches you respond and communicate, he's going to model that. Mm-hmm. So it's giving me, sorry, this is probably a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but communication is key, and not only in your marriage, but just how you talk to other people. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a big thing for me.
I love it.
Thank you.
You can find me, just anything you want to find out about me, you can just type in Irish Meets World. That's my Instagram handle. That's me on Spotify. That's me on Apple Music, the whole nine. If y'all follow me, if y'all follow me, maybe I might drop some more music. I haven't dropped anything since actually last March. But
been a little busy.
Been a little busy.
been a little busy.
Yeah, and that was something that I intentionally did because I know I didn't want to take away from family life.
Yeah.
Well, that could segue into my answer. I think the one thing that I've talked to, even when I talk to even single people when they ask me about marriage, what I've learned, the key is selflessness. Mm-hmm. I think if you're a selfish person, I say to people, I'll tell them straight up, I'm like, if you're a selfish person, marriage is not for you. it won't work for you, because there's things you're gonna have to give up, and you're gonna in the future you're gonna have to give up in order to be able to have a successful marriage, because you can't just think about yourself all the time.
Yeah.
You can't just constantly just be worried about yourself or your money or your this or your that, because you now become one. That's what the scripture says.
Yeah.
You leave and cleave, it ain't no, it's us doing this thing together. And I think that's something I've learned over these last couple of years, because it's like, you have dreams and you have aspirations, you have goals, right? But they have to align with, with your partner. You have to align with your spouse, because if they don't, right, you could be running into some kind of calamity. And I think that's the greatest part. Outside of communication, I think making sure that you're selfless, that you're willing to sacrifice whatever you have to do, whether it's work, whether it's ministry. Sometimes it's like, hey, okay, like even this weekend, meetings, I got a shift meeting. I do so much stuff with IPYPU. I'm in my council, churches. I got to shift meetings around. I'm out, can't make this meeting. Or even this weekend, I was supposed to be on a panel for something, and I was like, man, I can't even. Daddy has to work, so I have to. Hey guys, like I can't make it because I gotta watch a baby. Like, you know what I mean? So it's those things where you're able to adapt and shift simply based off the fact that you're not just doing your own thing. And especially being in ministry, we're living in such a time where everyone's so amplified about getting out there and being the next big whatever. But a lot of people are damaging their marriages over ministry. A lot of people are damaging.
Come on.
Damaging their family.
Ministry, your first ministry is your family.
Is your family, and I've learned that, right, holistically. Like I have my greatest joy is not standing in front of a crowd or getting the amens. It's coming home and seeing these people smile and making sure that they're happy, because you know what I mean. People are out there that they're only going to be there for so long, if that. So I think that selflessness of making sure that your family is a priority, I think that's just huge. Not just marriage now. I think it's just translated differently now, because now it's like, oh, I don't only have to support my wife, but I got to support my son too. So it's like the whole thing. Like, I like how she brought in the communication part, because now it's like you gotta talk about stuff. Hey, did you do that? Oh, because if you don't, that has an adverse effect on A, B, C, D, right? So there's a multitude of things, but I think, like I said, the one thing I think selflessness is the big one for me, and I think I'm holding in on that every day. So
that's awesome. Love it.
Yeah. All right, family. Well, it has been real. We really enjoyed talking to you all on tonight. We thank you for joining us on the Love Story. Real quick, man, shout out Empowerment real quick. For those that are on the fence, may not be coming, who want to come, give us a little information about Empowerment real quick before we get off here.
Listen, y'all coming to my hometown.
Yeah.
Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Right? listen, I need y'all to do whatever you need to do. If y'all have to get some expedited passports, y'all y'all still got time. So we still got, I know we're going to be there from April the 17th. I know the delegates are going to be there about the 17th, and then we kick off on the 18th, and we go right through to Saturday. We got some awesome speakers. We got Elder Jermaine Williams, who is from Canada. He's a powerhouse. We got Elder Marissa Farrow. We got all the way from Cali, Pastor Christopher Foster.
My dude,
right? You better know. We got the awesome suffragan bishop, Daryl Ferrier, that's going to be with us. Listen, I'm telling you, it's going to be an awesome time. We got delegates coming from all over. I know Bahamas going to be in the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a time.
With IPYPU president, we need to get to the Bahamas.
Right.
Oh yes, we got our brother Makira Tulloch. Listen, I'm telling you, we got some awesome speakers. We're gonna have a time. I know there's some trips. We're supposed to be going to Niagara Falls, supposed to go downtown. We're gonna have an awesome time.
I was already excited, but I'm not now.
I'm extra excited now.
Okay. Shout out to our Bishop Barrington E. Smith. He's gonna be speaking as well. Listen, I'm telling you, if you don't just make it an online experience, if you come to Toronto, if you can get there, I know you will be blessed. We go church. trust me, I'm gonna make sure we're gonna throw in some of that because everyone thinks in Canada we like, oh, y'all live in igloos. Listen, we
not that y'all live in igloos.
Canada is such a melting pot, and the one thing about us in Canada, we're mostly Caribbean, so we're mostly Jamaican or some Caribbean descent. So we got that Jamaica church. So we gonna make sure we got that.
Come on,
that's how it was when we went to London.
Oh yeah, London was fine. Y'all didn't go with us to London.
Yeah. It was even the praise and worship was like a Caribbean style.
Caribbean,
it was dope.
But they church too, because we was like.
So we got the American church because we study from y'all, but we got that Jamaica.
We
got all that. We got all that. All the flavors. Don't worry. And if you want to come, trust me, I got the jerk chicken spots.
That's all I'm saying. Who got the jerk chicken and the rice and beans?
I'm talking about the late night jerk chicken, like 3 a.m. We can
I want some plantains. I want some rice and beans.
Wait, whoa! You said plantains. See,
plantains. Our jerk chicken comes with plantains.
We say Jamaicans pronounce it plantain.
Oh, plantains. Okay, well, let me change my vernacular. So plantains.
And not oxtails. Oxtail. There's no S on oxtail.
Just tail.
Oh, oxtail.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll get your.
You'll be good by
time you leave Canada. Trust me, you'll be.
I'm gonna just give you money. You just order for me. I want this. And I won't date.
No, you don't have to trust me. You'll be good by time you done on that weekend. You'll be good. You'll be honorary Jamaican, honorary Canadian. Trust me.
I got it. Okay, that's it. That's all I need. Because if this presidency don't work out, I'm becoming a Canadian resident.
No problem.
We're trying to come down.
We might try to come down south. So I don't know. We'll see. We might have to join.
Then we all gonna do an exit and go to London. Man, family, this has been so much fun. Yes, don't forget, Toronto is the place to be in April 17th through the 20th. We need to see you in Toronto. After Toronto, we need to see you in B More. We need to see you in Baltimore for our convention. Listen, y'all haven't seen anything at these lineups. Fire, man. So listen, whatever you need to do. If you need to put your trip on layaway, if you need to put it on payments, Afterpay, whatever, get your stuff. If you need to borrow the money. If you need to borrow, don't borrow from us though. We ain't got it. But just get there to fellowship clearly. Absolutely. Single men, single women. Toronto clearly is the place to be. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you need to say.
That's all we say. That's all we say. We appreciate y'all so much. Those of you who are in the comments, we appreciate y'all for hanging with us again on this episode of.
Well, hold on real quick.
What I missed?
Shout out to our IPYPU president. He's the one who made all this possible. Shout out to your boy, your brother, Pastor Elder.
And then y'all hit him up and said we need to go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm working. Hey, I'm working on it. That's something we wanted to.
You work on your end, I work on my end.
Yeah, we trying to do some kind of pop up in the Bahamas. I know it was. I'm your international director. If y'all don't know,
that's right. You are international director. We need a beach service.
We trying to do something. We trying to get something popping in the Bahamas. For sure.
We can ask Bishop Brady and get to Hawaii too. So I mean,
there we go. My other place I like to vacation.
We can bring Hallelujah to the Disney cruise too. I'm just saying, look, we gonna talk it out. We gonna get you on a boat.
Right.
The Lord told Peter to walk on water. You can too. That's all.
I can too.
No, shout out for real to the IPYPU president, our fam in the comments, our Madam Vice President as well. Y'all gonna see them on here next. Shout out to our Bishop, Suffragan Bishop Gentry Richardson Jr., Lady Denise Richardson. You're gonna see them on here in a couple of weeks as well. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, share YouTube and Facebook. If you have a couple that you want to see on the Love Story, shout them out. Let us know. Hit us up in our DMs. Some of y'all been hitting us up. Thank y'all so much for y'all feedback. You keep telling us what you want to see, what y'all want to talk about. Yeah. We got the singles coming. We got y'all. We hear y'all. Yeah. All right, fam. Did I forget anything else? Are you sure?
We're done.
All right, fam. We'll see y'all later on the next episode of
The Love Story.
Story.
Peace out.